What up, though, everyone? To T and the D, I'm your host, Cardi, aka or at I'm Cardi, and we're gonna get into today's episode 9, and we're actually gonna do a recap of 8 and 9. So first, I'm going to actually add my beautiful co-host.
Hey, what up, though? It's your girl, Christina, aka Ina Lee, and you can definitely find me at INA_LIS. And make sure y'all all follow T in the D, and that's TEA_INTHE and the hard D, because it's real out here. And
It's real
don't
out here.
forget, y'all, we just definitely want to stop and thank y'all for tuning in, all your support. Wish y'all seen we gave y'all that Thanksgiving post because we love y'all. And if y'all missed it, we did send y'all well wishes for Christmas. And before we give y'all our New Year's vibes, we are going to bring in a very special guest because where
Who
am
you
I?
got? Who you got right there? What's going
Okay,
on?
I am reporting live from one of Ready to Love's newest eligible bachelors. Can we get a round of applause for Devon?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Devon writes the scripts.
Yeah,
All
script.
right.
Singular.
Script.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't be a gentleman without considering, more ladies to this situation. So we actually have the beautiful Shannon. Shannon, what up,
Hey,
though?
girlfriend.
Hi. Good evening. Good
Where's
evening,
I love the
everyone.
butterflies, little Mariah.
And I would be a little bit more remiss if I didn't, also bring out a major player in this game. We got Boss Bello. What's good, my guy?
Hey,
What up, though?
What up, though?
what up, though?
Are y'all ready for this recap? Episode 8, which is the Friends date. We're gonna do about 15 minutes there,
Before
and
we
then we're
do
gonna get
the
into
recap,
okay.
we want to give and we're gonna let the newest eligible bachelor do the honors. We want to give an official Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
It's coming, you about to pop it. There it is.
Let's go. Turn up.
Happy New Year's. Authentic.
Happy New Year!
That's authentic.
It's very authentic. It's very authentic. Yeah, I gotta get like y'all.
But yes, you right, Cardi. We got to get into because we definitely was trying to give y'all a little break. I know Own didn't. Own wanted y'all time during Thanksgiving, during Christmas and New Year's, okay?
Oh yeah, no, they definitely there's been no breaks this time. It's been all gas, no breaks. And speaking of which, like really going for this and thank everybody for taking the time. This is really last minute, so good looking y'all coming through to talk about this. Though when it came to the friend dates, the last episode, episode 8, do y'all feel that some of the energy from the X dates kind of leaned it in or linked into the friend dates? Only reason I say that is that when watching certain dates, including my own, there just seemed there was a little bit of energy. Like I know when looking at and I always love just taking a seat back and just like watching everything. But looking at the Lauren's X date when it came with her friends, do you guys feel that any of the energy from the earlier occurrences, maybe with Vince, maybe do y'all think that her friends may have heard about that and may have taken some type of energy into asking, that back and forth, or do you think that was just fun?
I mean, I'm sure they talked about it, but I didn't get that. That wasn't my.
Okay.
To be honest, it felt authentic. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know. I thought so.
I thought like maybe that's why they were like hard eyeing him because I think that best friends, we're gonna talk. And if I just found out in the last lounge that this man just called me a top, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely gonna talk to my homegirls.
Time real quick. We got to add somebody else.
Hey,
John, what up, though?
What up, Domo?
What up?
What up, though?
All right.
No,
Down,
for me,
you can hear us. Okay, cool. Go ahead.
I felt like if I was going to, if these are my friends, I've already told them how the journey has been going. I'm definitely going to speak about this man that I just found out called me a tall B. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, my girls already known. They probably already knew. So maybe because they were able to have more experiences, I think they were willing to give him the chance to prove that one moment didn't make him completely. And I feel like when it came to their humor, it wasn't on the same page. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And for the friends, that's understandable. You try to test the limits and the pressures to see if they're going to cave or if they're going to come to the table and handle the pressure, you know? But I think for Lauren, for me, I just think that if that was somebody you were really interested in, you would have identified, okay, he don't find this funny. All right, y'all, calm down. Because, like, it was a joke that didn't go well, you know? And at some point, who's going to end it?
So, Shannon, how do you feel about that? Did you feel there was any awkwardness in there, or do you feel it was just joking?
Well, I don't know that the ex dates informed the friend dates too much. I couldn't tell you. I feel like that's a good question to ask Lauren and her friends, but there was definitely tension at that date. And I don't know where it stemmed from or what, but it was like a back and forth, and you know what?
Right.
You know, he was like defending himself. You know, and it, you know, people like to pick and just like kind of, you know, banter or test the waters and see what's up. I feel like that's probably what could have been occurring. And either way, it seemed like the two sides didn't really gel. But, you know, that's none of my business. It's not my date, you know.
From my perspective, it seemed like Vince was irritated that they were calling him a liar. And I totally understand that. Like, I totally get, he just decided to stand on business in that moment. And that's where the tension came from. It seemed like to me.
Facts. Okay, cool.
Liar?
I could give context. Yeah. I was there.
They said you're a liar.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I was there, and to be honest, I feel like the friends were just, you know, in Caribbean culture, we'll say they're fast. You know what I mean? Like they just ask too many questions. They're just quick to jump to things, right? So I feel like there's some. I actually experienced a similar situation in that friend's date with the curly head friend, the friend who had the half black, half blonde hair.
The Cruella de Vil. She had
and she asked me the same question in 5 different ways. And so I could see where, and you know, I feel that I'm pretty direct and I'm very intentional in what I say. So when I have to repeat myself in 3 or 4 different ways, I feel like the person's trying to take something from the conversation that is not there. And I feel like that's what happened with Vince. I feel like, you know, she just kept on dialing into it. And it's funny because like when I think about it in hindsight, a lot of the things that Vince is being like attacked for, or the way that he's being portrayed, they're light. Like when he said, "What, you think I like it because the bitch tall?" Like that was hilarious. I was laughing. And I don't feel like he did anything crazy there. I know that you don't want to call a woman the B word, but he wasn't saying it to her. And I feel like in this situation, she's like, "Are you 6'2", male 6'2", or like really 6'2"? And I feel like it was a joke. And Vince, and you know what? He asked some very good questions, because something that he said was, he's like, "Are you asking if she is too tall for me?" Because when they asked the question and he answered the question, that should have been it.
Yeah,
right. Correct. And the fact that they kept going into it, so Vince is like, "Hold on, where are we going with this?
Exactly.
What are you looking for?" Right. And I guess for them, they're not used to people being as direct. I feel like you know, they were very passive aggressive. Like even at the end, Vince is like, "How do you feel like this date went?" And she said, "I feel like you're very colorful." And even the word colorful is not directed to the point. Right?
It's not.
Let me say this.
But also just real quick, I noticed that at the end of it, I don't know if this could be editing, but it was like, he's 6 feet. And this is like, how about you say it to his face though? You know what I'm saying? Like it just did seem to where there was a lot of back and forth banter. And to agree with you in terms of Bello, I feel that the biggest fiasco of things when it came to Vince and then Lauren, it was not captured on, it was not recorded, it was not on camera. You know, it more so is a lot of hearsay that is just, you know, validated based off things, because the context is everything. And I feel that if you do engage with somebody after you have a snafu or after somebody apologizes, then that you should kind of treat it that way. But like, I think sometimes our friends, you know, or whomever may want to, you know, feel a certain type of way. So that's why you almost kind of keep people out of your business. But in this actual experience, it's like, this is where we're at. So, okay. So not keeping too much on that. I would say,
I just want to say one thing. You're not calling me no B word. I don't care if it's whatever.
100%. 100%.
Crazy.
Especially if you like me.
I wouldn't keep talking to that person either, because you think I'm a B. Like, you think that's just like, you just
casual conversation.
That wasn't the context.
Context is everything. Context is everything.
That was not the context.
Call me a B word, and then they get back to me, and other people are talking about whatever. I didn't know about it. I didn't hear about it, but I would hate for someone who I was interested in to be calling me a B or any other kind of derogatory term, even if it's like a jokey joke. That shit not a joke.
And let me say this:
calling me a B word.
Absolutely.
And like, also, you're not gonna keep on testing my metal when I said I'm 6'2", so I'll stand on that too for Vince. Like, he said he was 6'2", the end, and he should have just went 6'2", and keep on repeating, because they're trying to test your metal. Like, 100%. As a friend, they're gonna do that, I guess, but also it's to see how you escalate, probably. But
under pressure,
you're 6'2", you know you're 6'2", that's the end, and I would have just stopped talking.
Well, and then also something though, Shannon, that I find that's just interesting is that if you know that he is taller than you, right? Like, let's say if we can agree that, you know, that height is established, at least for Lauren, at 6 feet. Okay. If Vince is taller than her, okay, then he would not be 6 feet. He would be taller than 6 feet, you know? And it's almost like it's kind of somewhat, I feel like, playing semantics, and it just depends on how much you want to go back and forth by doing that. So that was just my thing. Did anybody else want to say anything on this?
One thing that was, like, honestly, the thing that stood out to me the most is how weird is it to ask someone how tall they are when you're looking at them. I feel like that's just a weird. You saw him walk up. It was weird. I was just like,
"Are you beautiful?"
It's like, what?
Let me feel your wrist.
Oh man.
I just thought it was just an overwhelming conversation that escalated because there wasn't no one to navigate on Vince's behalf. Like, it's understandable for the aggression or even just the fun and games to come from one side of the table, but for the other side of the table to not say, all right, y'all get it. You know how tall he is. Y'all playing too much. Or to settle it down. I think it was like adding to the good job, girls. Get him. And even when I know we're going to get to the 9, but even in 9, she was just confirming that he was completely the problem. Now, come on now. I dealt with Vince. I know he could be a little bit of a problem, but I will say in this scenario, I don't think it was completely that. I think they were trying to see how he handled pressure, and maybe she felt like he should have handled it differently. But I think in the best compatible scenario, you got to worry about your partner. Like, if this is a man that you value and who is meeting your friends who you value, you want to represent on his behalf, like he's not out in there in that situation alone. And for me, I felt like
he started just really didn't have that much to talk about.
Is your camera on? What'd you say?
Y'all can't hear me?
Yeah, we can't see you. We can hear you. We can't see you.
You gotta turn your camera back on down.
You, and I
don't know how to. It say it's on. I don't know why it's not on.
It's tripping, but the audio sounds good.
I see me. I see me on the camera, and I see y'all. Well, anyway, I feel like that they just didn't have anything to talk about. It was boring. I was bored with her and her friends. Boom, I said it. And they didn't have shit to talk about. And they just kept talking about things that were irrelevant. You see the man, you know he's not 5'10". You know he's tall. But I don't got nothing else to talk about. That's why y'all keep saying it was irrelevant. And I just said it. It was boring and they had nothing else to talk about.
Oh, fast forward.
They didn't have a real connection.
Well,
let me just say this. Because I will also say on the friend's behalf.
Oh, that's what I forgot.
On the friend's behalf, I actually don't think they were combative with Vince at all. I think he just didn't let it go. You know what I mean? Like, I think most dudes would be like, you know, they just answer again or whatever.
They were combative. That's not true. They were combative.
They kept on picking at him.
I didn't. I mean, at a certain point, it got there once he refused to answer the question. But I feel like
he did.
I'm sorry. Again, I'm saying again to like say no, and I'm not lying. I am actually just 6'2" or whatever. Whatever they were.
But if you notice, they really got to a point to where it didn't matter what he said. They were just in a season of just disagreeing. You know. Yeah, they were. So even he's like, so are you trying to say this? And you know, it's like they wanted to get him to a point to where they wanted to, it seemed like, embarrass him in that same type of way of the whole tall B, you know, because it's like, you know, and that's why the internet is not necessarily going to let this go, because it's like, so you mean to tell me you invited him and then this, and you know, how bright are you? You know,
because I just want to reiterate that I totally agree with Bello and Shannon. Like I feel that, but I felt like what they gave was not abnormal. I feel like
there we go.
Vince is being Vince. You know, it wasn't even nothing special. I feel like he's remarkably consistent.
Got it. Well, I feel like
this is one thing that I want to say to Shannon was saying, because I know the guys they kind of understood when, like Bello had mentioned, oh yeah, he said it was a tall B and that was hilarious. But I stand with Shannon when I feel like, Bello, would you ever reference Dominique in any form saying that she's any type of B just because it's funny?
No.
Okay, Devon or Cardi, would y'all ever then or Shannon in a way like I think it's
not in my vocabulary. I have the decorum of really just at the end of the day, you know, I hold y'all all in high regard, and you know, but this is the thing for me. If I said it, I'm gonna say it to your face. You ain't gonna look at no blog or nothing. You be like Cardi, and I'm gonna say it like I'm gonna say it to your face. That's just me. So it's not gonna be no misinterpretations or anything. But I tell you what, let's segue over to Shannon, your date, okay? I mean your friend date and Mercedes, and you know, because that seemed to be, in all honesty, when it got to that one, it was more so like a breath of fresh air. Mercedes was ready, you know, y'all were kicking a little bit, and then she kind of pivoted over and she turned. And then when she looked at everybody, I was like, okay, well, and she came with the questions. So how did you feel leading up to that date? And how did you feel about the questions that she asked?
I mean, I felt cool going into the date. She did too. She's been there. She's done this. She knows what to ask. Everything I said, like, yeah, we weren't playing any games. It was to find out what's really up. And we did get to the bottom of that. I feel like that showed in the episode what was really up, and that's okay. I think people need to just stand on things that they say, how they feel, and be transparent, because there's a difference between like honesty and transparency. I require both. I need clarity and directness, and that's just me. They all know I'm direct. I'm very direct. So it seems like it's like suddenly like, oh shit, I'm comfortable with ambiguity, and like this person's being direct, and I feel like that could, you know, get people, you know, uncomfortable. Exactly. But I love the way Mercedes handled it. The guys came, and it was lukewarm for me. I'm not gonna lie, like whatever, it's fine.
Is there anything that we may have missed from the date from not being at the date? Or do you feel that it was translated very well in terms of the edit on, you know, on the episode?
I mean, there is another like extra portion out there too, and why I feel like I probably looked puzzled or delusional because of the qualities that they said that I embody, or what they saw in me or value or love about me, and all these different things. And then it's like, so Mercedes then did ask, oh, so where she stand with you? And then people over here say, oh, she top 4, oh, she top 3, blah, blah, blah. No, tell me where I stand. If I'm not in there, say that shit. It's fine. Don't give a fuck.
Right. No,
like,
that's cool.
It was really just a question. And then we seen from tonight's episode why I was even asking it, because of what I was told. So, you know.
She wants that clarity.
just be clear, because I'm gonna be clear with you, you know. So
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, let's transfer over to Dominique's day, because she definitely had, well, actually the gentleman that's on our panel right now.
We all of us was on this day.
All three of us were at that day. Yeah. All three of us were at that day.
I'm gonna let y'all know one thing before giving Dom the mic to go crazy. This date took place at 1 p.m. It started at 1 p.m.
1 a.m.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm tripping. 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Right?
1 a.m.
1
Yeah,
a.m. It
it's a
started.
late
So Dom, you can take the floor in terms of how you felt that the date went, like what were you thinking beforehand, and what was the vibe?
Y'all can see me?
Yeah, we can see you.
Yeah, we can see you.
I'm listening.
That is silly as fuck. She said,
Oh, I was eating my dinner. I'm hungry. What'd you ask me again?
Pretty much, how did you feel? Because the date started at 1 a.m. How did you feel leading up into the date? What was the vibe of the date? And is there anything that we're missing from the date?
No, y'all seen it. Y'all was there. It was late. I mean, I was tired. I'm a working lady, so I be going to work and going on these dates. I think that we wanted some clarity. Me and Shannon had a conversation about Devon. On the day, I was waiting for Devon to say what he'd been saying. He didn't. And it was just like, I've been telling these people what you saying, and I could say how I feel about each and every one of you in front of you. I had no secret. And I just did not, I don't know if it just didn't sit well with me, because he was like telling me every time he would tell y'all. I would countless days I would be talking to Bella, and Bella would be like, dang, Devon, and they're like, Dominique, my boo, that's my number one. And then when you know, like you telling my top connection that that's what the case was, or saying it to anybody. And then when we got here and we're like, so how do you feel? I had already like told my friends like who everybody was to me and how I felt. And then we got there and he didn't say anything. And I was just like, oh, okay. And I don't know if you had like the energy from your past date or whatever happened before, but I never went on any other day with anybody and took what happened with the last date into me, because it should be something fresh, right? So I feel like that's what was going on, but I don't know. I'm not in your head, so I don't know. I felt like it was fun. I felt like we had a good time, but it did get a little heated. I feel like Cardi came in doing what Cardi does. He gave gifts because that's what he does. We ladies love the gifts. Cardi, thank you for always thinking of roses and things to give.
Oh, most definitely. I'm glad I did, because it was. You could cut the tension with a butter knife. I was the first person in there, and it was
Devon
tension.
too.
You know what I'm saying?
Devon will do that too. So no shade, no tea.
Yeah.
It was just it was getting to the nitty gritty, and we needed to see who was like really connecting, because at this moment, some connections gonna be stronger than others, and that's just real. Valid. And we just got to speak on facts at that moment. And then if you talking about now I'm making new connections, it's like crazy to me. Like you making new connections since yesterday? Where? How?
Yeah, 4.
It ain't enough time. It ain't enough time in the motherfucking day to do
the math was crazy. The Steve math, that's 66% took me out.
But it's 66.
I'm sorry.
Bro.
Yeah, that was
all the way out. You could have bought me for 5 cents. I'm like,
let me say this though. Y'all saw on this episode.
Those numbers were crazy. For real.
Y'all saw on this episode though, the ladies were saying they got 3 or 4 connections at the lodge. So I feel like, it's the context. It's the way you want to paint the narrative. But because we were all doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I said, what did I say? I don't know. Did I say 3 or 4? Anyway.
You said 4. You said 4. And then that's when they did the math and they were going through and they're like, okay, that's 60. I think Mercedes, she was like, I'm no math major, so then asked like Steve, and then Steve was like, oh yeah, that's 66%.
I thought was
so say this.
Okay, cool. As long as we all agreed that was like
that math was off.
Yes.
I can't hear nothing.
That's definitely the culture of is that everyone was involved in, you know, being able to build multiple connections. That was part of the journey and the culture of what we were all there and doing. So for, you know, no, I mean, I couldn't handle it. Y'all know I was like, let me find my one real quick. and it didn't work out. But I think that everyone else understood, let me connect with multiple people, because the first person might not be the person that's going to withstand, you know, to the end with me. And knowing that you're still getting to know somebody, everybody's still peeling back layers from even years as you grow with someone. You're just identifying the most compatible out of those options. And with so many, you know, it's easy to want to pick so many options to try to dwindle down. So
well,
I mean,
I think this is
I do want to respond to what Dom said too. So I don't know. Just
okay. Well, one thing that actually, you know what? Please respond. Please do.
Yeah.
Where's the end?
Shannon's date did not bleed into her date. Those, I mean, first of all, it was like 7 hours apart. I mean, it was a long time. I will say for Shannon, for our date, like that setup, being at a bar and like talking down was weird. It was the worst setup for a date. I hated that. But no, that's not no. In fact, I feel like when I got finished with Shannon's date, I didn't think it went nearly as bad as Shannon did. Call me delusional, I guess, but you know, I was like, well, you know, that wasn't fantastic, but I was feeling okay. Dom's date though, yikes on bikes. When Dom said I was a gray cloud coming into that was accurate. I feel like that is the I know I was aware that I feel like
oh my God.
You know, and it had nothing to do with Shannon's day or anything like that. It was just that I was literally tired. Not making no excuses, but like the day before I just didn't get much sleep. So I was just came in there, I was just lethargic and was not ready for the smoke at all. I was totally caught off guard. And then I don't know. I panicked right away.
It was a recipe for disaster. That's why I bring out the 1 a.m. of what time we started. And then they didn't bring food. Food didn't come until late. Food hit the table about 40 minutes afterwards. So it's like 1:40 and the tacos is just coming. You know, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. But I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Why y'all hear me? I respect that answer. I respect you taking accountability in your whole actions. I fuck with you. I like that. You took accountability for your action because you could have battled me and I wasn't gonna battle you. I was just gonna let you have it. But that is the energy, and that wasn't usually your energy for me or for anybody. So it was kind of like, what's going on? And I'm like, crickets. And it frustrated me because that's not how me and you had a dialogue. So for you to say that right now, I think that that's a good quality. And at some point in life, if you ain't already in a relationship, you're gonna make somebody a great guy because you can take accountability for what actually happened. And you're not like in a combative state. Like some people will be combative, like that's not what it was going. Y'all was doing it. No, that's the energy you was given. So energy is transferable. So once you come in there, like you could have had like when Bello came in, he changed the energy of the room because he came in with confidence. So it changed it, even though he felt the thickness. Like, oh damn, it's thick in here, it's heavy. But it did get like that. Like Cardi came in like a ray of sunshine. He was light, and you came in like a storm.
It was very yeah.
And it was like, hey, how you doing? And you was like, I'm okay. What? Like what's here?
Let it be a lesson to guys out there watching the show.
You know what I love?
First impression is you don't get two of them. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was gonna say I love the fact that when it got really chaotic and like intense, he was able to manage it by saying, whoa, let's take a second, you know, and not just react.
You know,
that was whack as hell. Actually, Devon was whack as hell on that date. No lie.
Well, no, I'm saying when a moment is overwhelming for a man can either respond with chaos back or, you know, like Vince. Well, I wouldn't say Vince did chaos.
The actual,
but Ina, hear out Dom for what she's saying and being there. You know, it does make sense for him to say it in some senses, but the biggest thing that I felt that from just observing, let's say, their interactions was that it wasn't like that all the time. So
and
with
you
it being
see,
so different,
like that day, they didn't even really show everything that happened on the day.
No.
Nobody can't say I'm going. If you got me here, then you gonna have to get what's accurate from me, what really happened in the moment. And that one,
that's fine. I'm definitely just giving my perspective from what I saw. What I saw, even though it's edits, that's
just
what
remember what the people see is the only. I mean, you know,
that's what we're going off of, and then we get your full perspective. But for certain,
but Dominic is right. I will acknowledge it was actually much worse.
They gave you grace then, because they gave him grace.
They actually gave you grace.
What I didn't like though
said no.
is that what people say online is that it looked like I was angry at Bello or like I was jealous of Bello, and that just wasn't what part of the calculation in my mind. It just really, it honestly wasn't. And I would say if it was just the energy I was getting from your friends. I was just not prepared for that sort of fight at 1 o'clock in the morning. I just wasn't ready for it. And that's all.
You know what? I gotta be honest. When I walked into that date, I was like, what just happened? The energy was so thick. And Cardi's like, yo, they cooked that brother. I'm like, what? So I was excited to see the episode to find out like what was said and what happened.
They didn't show any of that.
I feel like it was light. I don't feel
they
like
spent time. They spent so much time to Devon's face, like bang, 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 bang. I'm looking like you know when you cooking and like it could be bacon in the pan or something else, and you like, yo, I gotta just. But I'm watching it, and I'm just like, yo, this is wild. So there were other different elements, but to your point, Von, one of the funniest parts of that episode was when Don's bestie, I'm missing her name. I think it starts with an S. Sharonda. When she was just like, she's my soulmate, and then they edited it, or it was edited away, and you were like, yeah, that shit took me out. That took me all the way out. It took me all the way out because I'm like, I don't remember that pause that long, but it was a good comedic break. And yeah, it was an amazing date though. I thought like I was really looking forward to seeing this date and then like seeing like how it played out. And I feel like it did a pretty good job. It didn't show everything, you know what I'm saying, but it gave the just that, you know, there was a lot that was going on, and at the end of the day, things fell through.
Hey,
you know?
Okay, guys, this is T and the D. Part of the T is giving context to
Let's do it.
And me being at the date, I missed half of everything before I walked up in there. Both you guys know. You talk about him cooked on a pan.
He got cooked.
And give a context of what happened.
Like, no, right he got cooked. Hello, he got cooked.
Nobody want to know how did he get cooked?
Okay, I can't even recall. It was so bad. It was just like.
Let me tell you how he got cooked. The same energy that they had for you, they had for me. You know, so it was like, okay, cool. You know, like Sharonda, like, are you single? You know, and Don like, well, obviously, but there was other things like, how you go take, like, what are you doing? Are you serious? You know, it's like, and the thing is not how you answer the questions, but it's, you know, how you're standing on the answers of your questions. You know, and I feel that how I knew that they were ready to cook was when as soon as Vaughn walked in, they asked, "Are you confident?" How you answer that question? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you? Yeah, no, I'm not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Then it was because it would go around, and what's crazy, you know, and I feel that like, oh yeah, this is golden, right? But it wasn't. I felt that when you came in, Bello, you could say something, and it would be eloquently said, and they get to me, and I'll say something, then it's back on Vaughn. You know, and then they on Vaughn, and then all of a sudden, and they back to you, and then you say something, then I say something, it's back on Vaughn. So you've seen it happen. It's just that half of that date, they were cooking. But at the end of the day, you know, it's funny that we can laugh about everything, and it's cool. But let's get into episode 9.
Wait, before
this episode tonight.
Can I say something real quick? Sorry, I know. And I do want to say, because I didn't say anything about Shannon's date of substance. And I did want to like not just gloss over that. And I that was a time where things were fluctuating between my like my top interests or whatever. And so I know that at one point I said Shannon was my number one. I know at many points I said Dominique was my number one, but it was in constant motion. So what I said to you at the time was what I felt, and what I said to Dominique at the time is what I felt at that time. But then, you know, finding out stuff about people, just getting to know them better, things moved.
Okay, I got a question now.
So, you know, I talk with my hands like that. I talk with my hands. I'm Italian in a different life. But yeah, that's what it was, you know.
Actually, you know what? I can't say. I'm not going to ask the question. I'll wait till next episode.
Okay.
All right, cool. So we on episode 9, y'all.
Before we get all the way to episode 9, we gotta definitely pick our the looks who had the best, because Ladies Lounge and the ladies came in with heat. The ladies were good in that Ladies Lounge.
They did. We want to do best look for 8 and 9, or we want to do 8
just
and
for 9, because the Ladies Lounge, you know.
Oh yeah, y'all, they look amazing. I was like, yo, this is look at this Ladies Lounge, you know, like every time, give 2 snaps.
Dominique had that blue on. She was looking good. I'm gonna tell you, one of my favorites though was definitely Shannon's. Shannon had that like pastel, like greenish or teal. What was it, teal or something? With the white and your dress for the Ladies Lounge.
Oh, the pink and green with
the teal and the white and the black.
It had like white and black, like seams. Yeah,
that was gorgeous.
My mom asked where I got it from. I was like, "Don't worry about it."
Don't worry about it, mama.
What about you, Cardi? What was some of the or Devon? What about you?
Oh man, I'm trying. Honestly, the only one that I remember is Shannon's, and that's because you said it while I was watching it. So I'd have to like. I'm trying to remember what the outfits, but y'all always kill it. Y'all always kill it in those lounges.
Detroit, they say, is the best.
Man,
what about you, Cardi?
I felt that Ashanti stepped it up, at least in that like Ladies Lounge, a little bit more so than other times, you know. But I was a fan of Shannon's and I was a fan of Dom's, and it's hard for me to even like, you know, really. I'm outnumbered in terms of just. I was just amazed that y'all just. That Ladies Lounge by itself, I feel that everybody should get like a best dress, because that shit was crazy. You know what I'm saying? It made me look like, even for the fellas, like when you look at us going, it was like, okay, yeah, y'all look good. You see the ladies, it's like we on the same show. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Well, I always love Dom's outfits. So
yeah, I know.
But also, I obviously love Dom Down. That's my sis.
That's period.
Yeah. So.
You know what? I gotta be honest. This is one of the first episodes that I didn't really feel like anybody stood out. I can't remember what any of the ladies were wearing in this episode. Normally, there's like a clear divisive winner where you're just like, yeah. They wore that and like that slapped. But I feel like in this Ladies Lounge, I don't know if everybody was evenly yoked, so nobody stood out, or what the situation was. But in my mind, I can't even remember what anybody was wearing. And I'm normally somebody who pays attention to detail and outfits, and it's a blur. Straight up.
I think they're all beautiful.
I'm not saying nothing negative. It's a blur.
No, I feel it.
I don't want to forget Donna's. Donna's was cute. It looked like the one I wore in
I gotta look at this again.
She had the black and white sheer.
It was. I would have to say that y'all had to be the best looking Ladies Lounge probably of all Ready to Love history, and y'all can run this back. That's what I'm saying.
Ready to Love.
I haven't seen all the seasons, but from what I did see, y'all killing them hands down.
They don't matter.
Down.
That's what it is.
Down.
You know. All right, so let's get into this episode though. So looking at everything for what it is, it starts off. We got to get now into the elimination, and it starts to where they break, and then it goes into our elimination dates. Devon, you and me. Now, Shannon being on that date, did it make you feel any type of way going into the date? Do you feel you were a little less nervous with having a connection with Shannon, prior, seeing her prior, or do you?
I am very glad that it was Shannon that did it.
I love it.
Okay, cool.
It was okay, I was still a little caught off guard. Just the, what I mean by that is like, I guess there's a part of me that felt like I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't, like when Shannon told me, I was just like, well, that's it. I literally I went into this like fight or flight response, and I was just like, all right, I gotta go. And I actually came back in there because I was just like, I don't know. I knew there was a possibility, but I didn't think it was going to happen. So it did catch me off guard.
I knew with the prior double elimination that anything could happen. I knew I was cooked and I was going and I was out of there. Imagine walking in, everything all good, you cool. And then I go over to Ashley and then I spill her drink on her. A quarter of the drink fell in her lap, and I'm like, oh, I'm out of here.
Like she's making the decision.
You are now.
But if y'all watch it back, you look at that drink. The table was wobbly, but everybody was like sploosh, sploosh, and I'm just like, oh, it's a wrap.
Yeah. She was cool about it. She was cool about it. At least
she was great. She was great about it. And then it's just like if tension wasn't high enough, but that happened, and then we get into the.
Speaking of outfits, though, that was a dope green vest, man. I like that.
I like that. Same thing.
I appreciate it. I got it from Tennessee, which I'm down here now, and I never could wear it. I never could match it with anything. And I was just like, fuck it, I'm throwing it on. I'm gonna get eliminated in my style,
Ashley looked good too in that pink silk. I was like, dang, he's pulling the silk.
It was crazy. I was like, I did pay for dry cleaning though. I was just thinking that the whole time. I'm thinking like, I'm about to go home, and everybody gonna be like, this nigga is doing the most. So, getting into the actual cabin or that trip, I found that it was interesting that they only really showed a couple of us driving up, like Dom and Bello and Shannon. Like they showed y'all in y'all car, driving up, and that's crazy because all of us drove up,
Yeah,
and the interior to BMW looked good. That red was kind of yeah. Well, I'm finding out that they only just showed us two. I thought that was crazy. I mean, am I missing? Did they show anybody else?
No, I think they showed Steve. I think they showed Steve at some point. I think
Steve was in my car. It was Steve.
Okay,
yeah.
Was
And then it was.
Yeah, it was just cars, right?
It was just 2 cars.
Well, there was only 3 cars. We got to remember that Darius drove with Ashley by himself.
Yeah, Darius drove with Ashley himself,
and Vince and Donna drove together.
There it is.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, Vince and Donna drove together, and then there was a production. So.
I don't
Ashley
think they
drove in the production car. She didn't drive with Darius. Darius drove up.
No, okay, there we go.
Gosh.
Yeah. So doing that though, like getting in the cabin was crazy. I was so like I was glad that it was close because it wasn't that far away from the metro area.
Where was it at?
It was in Pinckney, or what was it?
Oh yeah, Pinckney, Michigan. I know where this is.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I know I'm fast forwarding,
danger zone.
but Cardi, you got to tell me about how the spirit helped you to lift the mask cheeks. Like, how did that happen?
Yo, that could have went terribly.
Instead of grabbing her under her arms,
I was like, you must
be like, Jesus took me.
Yeah, I said Jesus at the wheel. But look, y'all, something about me, it's always safety first, right? And I would have listened, ladies. One wheel lessons are always available if y'all want to learn how to ride.
Can they expect the same assistance?
It's safety. It's safety at the end of the day. Lauren and Shante, they knew what time it was. I had it in the back. I'm like, look, I got this in the back. If y'all want to try, and they're like, no, Cardi, and I was like, okay, all right, cool. But notice she didn't fall, and I didn't realize that happens. Really, believe it or not, until like when we did like a recap of like reunion. Like I had not noticed, and I'm like, oh damn, and she's like, you grabbed my ass. And I'm like, that did happen, but it was safe.
that did happen.
But yeah, no, but that was
like he didn't feel the grasp of ass in his hands.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy because when like ass just goes like this, and it's just like, okay, this looks, there's no talking. I have to take accountability for what it is, but nobody hurt themselves, and that's what was key. Because when I tell you, I was riding around the one wheel inside everywhere that alcohol was consumed, Cardi was on the one wheel. You know. So, but yeah, outside of that though,
that looked fun. That was a good.
It did look fun though.
Did they ask you to bring that, or were you like?
No, man, I came so damn prepared. Yeah, I had all types of stuff, and I don't think they go show Diamond not playing cards, but like we went around and was like, okay, so who else played? And then Darius like, yeah, I play, and I think he played with. I don't know who he played with. It didn't matter. Spades, yeah, it
didn't matter.
When I tell you, you play.
Do I play spades?
I'm asking, do you play?
Listen,
you're good.
First off, you know, I feel like all black people act like this, but honestly, spades ain't that hard.
Yeah, like, you gotta know how to.
Lightweight. I'm very good at spades.
Whenever you want that work, you can get hung like a Don Julio bottle on Don's Christmas tree. We can play.
Your next game night, remember these words. Remember these words, my friend.
Hey, they're recorded, and I want y'all to remember them because afterwards, Von, what I need you to do after this game, if you lose, you go Harlem Shake, and you go sing that Dr. Pepper song that's on TikTok.
This is fun. I like this. All right, I'm gonna think of something embarrassing for you to do.
It's recorded.
Make him do the Dougie.
Before this ends, I'll say what it is.
Okay, we're gonna see. But Dom, are you cool with that? You cool with playing spades again?
Huh?
Are you cool with playing spades again? Y'all lucky she got technical difficulties.
I think she switched to a computer.
We gonna take that as a yes. So we go do that. So getting more into the getaway. Were y'all looking forward to the getaway? And
let me just say this: since I went on a getaway, I ain't got too much to say other than it looked beautiful.
Yeah, I was like, damn, this
was beautiful.
I was like, y'all had a time.
It was beautiful.
And that food was crazy. Like the food the first day was amazing, but that food the second day we cooked it up. And they didn't really. The first day we had a chef.
Okay.
So the chef did his thing or her thing. But the second day we ended up cooking. So it was Darius. He threw down. Ashley threw down. I threw down. And then
I threw down too. What's up?
No, my guy.
Shots fired.
But not for us. You know, we end up all cooking at the end, but like while a lot of these sessions and stuff were happening of deep conversations, like we cooked for a good like 3 or 4 hours of getting everything together. You know, that's why when you look and you see the crab legs, you see other stuff. So Darius, shout out to him, he came through, he was like, yeah, I got this, and then you start making the margaritas, and I'm just like, let's go. I realized how judgmental I was, y'all, and not to be so long-winded, but I started judging people when they couldn't cook or didn't cook, and I was just looking like nuggets.
How do you eat? Right.
I got a question. You know?
Exactly.
I got a question I was curious about the show. That moment when Shannon jumped into the bed with Steve.
Oh.
I was like,
what happened?
I was like, wait a second now.
Well, Shannon, we got you here. Describe it.
We need answers.
Yeah, there was a moment when you jumped in the bed with Steve, and based off of this, I guess, Von, your question was that authentic? Was that staged? Or
yeah, it felt because look.
Well, to be honest, I don't know if I can tell that Steve.
Okay.
Hot. So there's that.
So, okay, cool.
Period. There's that, but no, and I feel like I can't talk about this because
no problem.
There's nothing.
No need to. Yeah, no need to. So simple and plain. That was
it. Was genuine. It was real. Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
That first night.
During the cabin, I feel like Shannon's personality really came out. And I feel like during the drive, it was cool. We were talking. We had like a family vibe situation. But like when we got to the cabin, I'm like, yo, Shannon's lit. I'm like, damn, she's so fun. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is why I really, honestly, I really warmed up to you during the cabin. And like when you say that your feelings for Steve was real, like it was real and everything was genuine. We had our conversations leading up to a lot of the moments. And like honestly, like I don't want to spoiler or nothing like that, but I feel like a lot of your personality really came out during the cabin. You're a really cool person. I told Dom this I told Dom this, and I don't feel like I actually told you, but you're pretty fucking dope. I'm just gonna say that. I'm just saying
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Crazy. I wasn't there, but I heard a lot of great things about you, Shannon. That you just.
I mean, we'll see, because they eat me up for going in on Darius. They think I'm dumb or like I'm not all there.
You're talking about for the conversation on this episode?
On the couch, and there was like something else that got put out, and they're like, she's so judgmental.
Oh, no.
So listen, Devon mentioned that. He said that because we were like, well, what did you mean? Well, how did you not know it? But with the way that he said it, it made it question like adult entertainer versus.
Yeah, that's
a question.
That's how I interpreted it.
Because I was like adult
entertainment. I'm like, is he a porn star? Or a stripper? Or like,
oh my goodness.
Webcam girl?
I understand that question.
But then also, we find out the young lady worked at his club. So I was like, and that's where the little line where I was like, that don't sound right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't own a strip club. He had like she was probably like a server or like a what's called like a bottle girl, and then she was also
it's totally fine.
So he just stripped on daytime and then nighttime, you know.
I love all of it. It's fine. It was just that I was like, something is not adding up here. And I need you to say it. So that's where I'm very direct and I need clear statement.
Clarity,
And I walked him right into that. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm sorry, I was being kind of facetious. I'm not gonna lie. Like I know what the fuck he was saying, but you're gonna say it out loud.
Yeah.
But he didn't say it out loud, did he?
No, he said
he said that.
He said she was a stripper.
He was. Oh, my bad.
He worked in his club. He said that he was trying to change her over this 11-year time period. And I was like, why would you think you could change someone? That's
right. Yeah, that was
all. Like you love people where they're at.
Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Don't save her.
Hey, no.
I did want to say, like, because, you know, I do feel like people watching the show, you know, I've been reading the feedback or whatever. And I think it's really funny that people's conclusion about Shannon is that she's a nerd because she likes Harry Potter and is a nurse, I guess. And I just feel like that is really funny to me because that is definitely not the first word that comes to mind when I think of Shannon. I feel like you're a multifaceted person who happens
Stormy?
You said what?
Stormy?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Are you talking about what I was? Oh, my post. I actually wasn't talking about you. But
okay.
I was talking in general.
Let him have the clarity. Let him have the clarity.
Yeah. No, I was just saying that you're multifaceted. Nerd would not be the first word that came to mind, and I didn't even know that that's what people got from your presence.
But nerd is a compliment, though.
Yeah, no, 100%. Look, no,
it's intellectual. People love seeing y'all together and then working out that particular dynamic. They're like, is he going to go for this? Are they going to go for that?
Sure. But I just feel like it's funny the way that people feel the need to boil down a person to like.
It's the internet. It's the internet. You know, the internet always. Our people are going to be like, you know what? Cardi's slow. He's boring. And it's like, okay, I guess I'm slow. And
right,
exactly.
They love calling some of the men boring. It's really interesting.
You know what I'm saying? You know, like
I don't know what they expect.
You mean to tell me that we would have? We are so damn interesting, y'all. Like this episode was so entertaining. All of this season is super entertaining. You know, we are the talent. You know, that's why when it's like, you know, y'all say whatever y'all gonna say, but y'all gonna tune in. You know,
I like that. Y'all say what y'all gonna say, but y'all gonna tune in.
Because y'all gonna watch
Love that.
And y'all gonna rewind if you miss something. What did Bello say? Go ahead. And Bello, the way, man, it's interesting seeing you on television. You with Dom, and like it's just a lot of unique chemistry that's there. You know what I'm saying? I am such a fan of all of us. You know,
like mom and dad.
Right. It's cool because you're a part of it, right? Then you watch it, you're like, yeah, this is kind of dope. This is real cool. I'm glad that I did it. You know what I'm saying? That I did it moment of the relationships that you have that where other people may never have and foster these relationships. We may have met each other. I found out Ina, right? Kid you not. I found out Ina and I went to the same middle school. I was like,
yeah.
What?
Yes.
7th and 8th, you know, 7th and 8th grade, almost like the girl. Like,
you Wisconsin?
No, I went to Levy, but the fact that y'all even were in the area, y'all was down
insane. I was like, she's lying.
That's
We
crazy.
see each other twice. But
you're the second group. Remember Ed and what's her name, and Nicole? Was Ed Nicole? They
went to college though. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was Michigan State. Michigan State's huge.
Yeah,
so,
no, it was Eastern Michigan.
Oh right, it was Eastern. I'm sorry. My bad.
Well, listen, was when Shannon was saying about the nerd, or y'all was talking about the nerd situation. I don't think they were calling her a nerd because of how she is. I think that her education and her dedication is a lot different from the average person. So her accomplishments made
Nicole got 6.
Yeah, no, don't worry.
Don't worry. But they don't say that about her, and that's
because she has something else to overwhelmingly talk about.
Okay.
Like, what do you mean?
That's true, because I said it like on the very first episode. I went to U of M for this, and this.
Yeah, so it's like an accolade scenario, whereas even though she has such a tremendous accolade, they will respect it, but they're also talking about something different.
You're talking about the narrative. Okay, my bad.
You know what? You know what's interesting is that
like personality, girl. It was just your greatness.
Yeah,
I guess I don't really care. Like,
my bad, Bella. Go ahead.
You know what's interesting is a lot of like you rock your sorority colors a lot throughout the episodes, but you never spoke about being part of a sorority or nothing like that. And I feel like again, like I said, a lot of layers were uncovered. You know, during the cabin. And I feel like when people were saying, like, I don't know, the comments, nerd, this, that, I don't know. But I'm just going to say that I feel like the production focused heavily on, again, your accolades, like your schooling and you're doing your master's and that kind of thing. And I feel like the production didn't go very deep in any of your dates. You know what I'm saying?
It looks like I had none. Really?
You see what I'm saying? And that's the thing. So they didn't go very deep on your dates, and because they didn't really go deep on your dates, people are just going off of like
little blurbs.
Yeah, just the blurb, right?
Yeah.
I feel like, honestly, Bello, you're the only person who I felt like has had deep, like, these dates are so short in just from the production standpoint of being what they show on television, like of what happens, that I feel like you and Dominique's were the only ones that I felt like, oh,
2 and 3 minutes. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, it was like in depth, right?
But sometimes,
each of them.
Sometimes though, if it is layered with controversy or things that could be perceived as controversy, and how you speak about certain things, like your date with Lauren, you know, and it's like, well, where you talk about your daughter, you know, and then like, because it's all about how you are going to, let's say, quote unquote, talk about these things or be candid about these things, because some of our other dates that we may have had may not have even made it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even really see me on dates with Ashante.
Yeah,
we went on them. You know,
I don't know. My godmom been on in the internet like, hey, relax.
Your godmom, just like that.
It's interesting to see what some people point out. I'm like, that was not actually an issue, you guys. This was the issue. Did you hear this? People are
going to want to believe what they want to believe. They're going to want to just double down. I got like a whole fan of man haters, and they're just saying, Cardi, he should have been gone the first, what he called it. It's like, I'm at home watching this. Like, I don't want to like, I want to kind of like antagonize them, but I also wanted them to just do and say whatever, you know, but I know I can take it too far, you know, because I'll just jump in and just start roasting everybody. You know, it's like, Cardi, don't do that. Just chill. You know, this person is created the rule, you know. Now
Cardi,
I'm getting
what was you talking about at the dinner table?
Yeah.
Was it as awkward? Was it as awkward as it looked like on the camera?
It did.
I came to his defense, but it's not there. But
one thing that I've learned from this, y'all, is that I have a tendency, or I used to, talk in circles with things, right? But I was doubling down on the fact that my experience was that you can talk to people, but everybody isn't going to get you. Okay. So the thing in the trailer, what I'm saying is that everybody is saying that I'm shallow because it's brought out constantly. Yeah, you're shallow. You're this, you're this. But I'm like, y'all saying I'm shallow, but a nigga is deep. I can, I can swim. A nigga can swim.
I totally heard that.
And it's just like, I can save you. I can save you. And then, well, you're talking to metaphors because I am a metaphor. Like if you are choosing not to
Stop
understand,
saying it again, babe.
You say it again. You say it again. Okay, I'm doubling down.
You find your tribe, and the people that you don't have to explain it to. Like I understood exactly what you meant. You get what I'm saying? The people that understand you will be your people, because the other people,
and some people don't want to understand you. So if you don't want to understand me, you want to criticize me. Why am I explaining anything to you?
You know what? I'll, like my listening of what you said, and where I feel that the disconnect came from was the fact that everybody was asking, what did you learn about yourself? And what you were talking about was what everybody should have taken away from the experience. So the thing was, you weren't speaking from an individual standpoint, you were speaking from like a broader base, which is fine, but that wasn't the assignment. And I feel like that's
okay. Because we've talked about this.
Hold on, let me theory real quick.
I think part of it is a language thing because he was using the universal you instead of saying me, but to me it was very obvious that he was talking about himself. But he was saying me. And for some people, they have, some people don't process that, didn't process that, I think. It felt like you were
me would have made it land a lot better, I feel.
Yeah, because people was looking around confused.
Yeah,
but
me would have.
Some of us got it.
But me talking in third person, that's what I realized from this, because if y'all listen to the madness of the stuff that I say, a lot of times you like, that was funny.
That's not third person.
Yeah, it's just it's cutting it to where I'm not speaking as much and then talking about it. Because what I learned is that, hey, you can be going back and forth and it really wouldn't matter at the end of the day, because I could be disagreeing with Donna. Donna's not trying to get me or understand me. She wants to be combative based off of things. There's no opportunity to really even talk to you. So why am I talking to you? So other than saying that and cutting into somebody where it's just like, okay, Cardi, because I'm telling you, it's like angel, devil, when it's like Cardi. And I'm just like, chill. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? Let people get off and do things, because I don't want to come off, you feel me, as not. So I can take the criticism now, of course. I can realize, you know what, let me just cut to the chase and let me not talk as much. And, that's what I learned.
So Shannon, what type of chips are you promoting right now? These drizzle, cinnamon swirl.
I'm not promoting anything.
Why don't you just show the whole damn package? What is that?
I love those little things.
Drizzle.
They're like no calories and they're delicious.
The lemon ones
are
great. So good.
There are no calories.
I'm very little, right?
I need the calories. What?
The little ones like this, right?
But they're really good.
Okay, I'm gonna look those up. Drizzle-licious. I'm gonna look those up.
Yeah.
I don't know what type of magic they work in them little things, but they are delicious.
They got a lemon one. It's so good.
They have so many
right there, Ina. Look at that. Right there, Shannon and Devon are in the same tribe. They know the same snack. They know what it is.
I know what it is too. I just told you the lemon version. What were we talking about?
Yeah, we were just about. You had the lemon.
We were all.
I want you to know, I've never seen that shit in my life, and
me neither.
You're missing out.
It's so good, and it's like you didn't eat it.
I thought they were wheat candies.
Take one out so that I can see it.
It's
They're
very
like
small.
the rice cakes, but it's cinnamon rice cakes.
And it's 29.
That's a honey crisp.
Yes,
it's like
a ridiculous amount of pieces per serving.
29 to be exact.
That is cereal in a bag.
Okay, because we know it. But let me say this, because Cardi. Well, before we get to Cardi, because I was gonna bring it up when Dom came, but she ain't back yet. I know you lying. Tell me how you felt when she came in there and took your room, because baby, I was like, what? It just happened. I know you lying.
You talking about Shannon? You said Cardi.
Nope. I'm talking about Cardi. I was gonna go to Cardi, but I said, wait a minute, let's go to Shannon first because I was gonna wait till Dom came, but Dom ain't come back. But I just wanted to know because how did that happen?
You were so nice about that.
You were so kind.
I don't care.
But also, I think maybe she knew that she had a guy. So tell me how you like behind that thought process. What? That's why what's the name was like, oh girl, you got balls. I heard Shantae. Shantae was like, you got balls. Cause she would I don't know, she
was she even talking about that too?
You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to tell with the edits. Like was she even talking about that?
Yeah, did that really happen or was it edits? Because that they try to make it seem like she just
you know what I mean? You know what we're talking about, Shannon?
Wait, repeat.
The room. The room fiasco. You picked the room first.
She was like, let's room together. I was like, okay, girl. I don't care. Yeah. I just kind of like ran in there because I was like, it's the biggest bed. I want to be. And I was like, I really don't need to be in here because, yeah, it's not necessary.
Because they have two people. So maybe
you could have shared that bed with Steve right there.
Hey, watch out now.
What'd she say?
Chill out.
What'd you say?
Chill out.
I said she could have shared that bed with Steve.
But no, I was like, no, it'll be a Sumbler party with one of my other friends with Ashley. Yeah. So it's cool.
That house
it didn't bother me.
That was very understanding.
I want to have one of them houses. Oh no,
we will have one of those houses.
Yo,
100% will.
Cardi, I have to ask. Did they tell you to ask that question? Who slept where, or was that normal breakfast conversation?
I say some wild things, but it's just
not
that wild.
I'm generally, this is the thing though, I'm not generally in people's business. I could care less. I've seen somebody get struck by lightning and minded my business. It's in God's hands. Kid you not. Somebody got struck twice. I'm like, I can't do it. Kid you not.
Help! I gotta find out.
No, got struck by lightning, bro.
No, I seen somebody. I seen somebody get struck by lightning twice. My mom was calling me. I'm like, look, it's above me now. I was like 13 years old. I couldn't do it.
Did you tell your mom? So she go to police?
It's none of my business.
It's none of your business. This is horrible.
I kid you not. My mom asked me what happened. He
didn't say once. He said somebody got struck by lightning.
She got struck twice. She got struck twice. He was out too far in the water. I looked at it. My mama called me. I went and I got Tostitos. It was a wrap,
Oh my God.
I can't block my blessings, Joe, and I can't lie to y'all about that. You know what I'm saying? But it still wants me to do that. Huh?
That wasn't a blessing, no good deed.
Oh, listen, I'm talking about it right now. It's in Jesus' name.
Oh my goodness.
Let me just say this. Y'all can cut this
out. Back in 1 second.
That makes
you look
crazy.
Well, it does.
I mean, it went by fast.
But also, Cardi would say something like that anyway.
In a different context is everything.
Yeah. Something to give y'all an idea. Sir Bello, I don't know if you caught in the actual episode. We were making the succulents, right? You weren't at the table. You were on the other group, right?
Yeah.
But I look at Shannon and I'm just like, as we're creating it, and I was like, "Is that for Daddy?" And then no, you were sitting down. I think you were at the table too because you were sitting across from Dom.
Yeah.
But I asked her, I'm like, "Is that for Daddy?" And then she was like, "I don't want to answer that question." And then for the interview, Richard, he was just like, "Is that?" He was like, "Who's Daddy, Cardi?" Like, oh my God. I tell you, it was just so funny, and it like I really started to feel like I got in my bag of just funny during that trip, to where anybody could get it. You know what I'm saying?
We were all acting like goof.
Get what, Cardi?
Anybody?
You said you were all acting like what?
Looney Tunes.
Goof troops, like goofy. Oh. We were all just like.
Honestly. Me, Cardi, and Darius were all in the same room.
It was lit. We had the after party in the room.
We had the after party in the room.
It looked like there was a lot of rooms in that lodge, man. I don't know what
we had.
I heard Steven was up there too.
We had a secret room, Vaughn, to where you had to take an elevator up, or you had to go through the garage.
Facts.
And it had 3 beds, but it was a whole wing of the house. So the night we turned up, everybody was dancing when production left, and then we went up there and we partied. remember most of the night, which is why I passed out outside of Ashante's room. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, it was turned up, you know? So anything that would have happened could have happened that first night to where it was like, yo, that shit's crazy. And then we got
honestly, and speaking of birds of a feather and like everybody being evenly yoked, we were up till probably 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, partying, drinking, talking, laughing.
Oh, okay.
And then we all got up at 7:30, 8 a.m. to cook.
Yeah.
Like, and nobody missed a beat. We weren't tired. We just went right into it. I was like, damn. I'm like, I got up and I came. I see everybody ready. I was like, yo, this is what's up. Like, I thought I was gonna be the only one downstairs.
No, we was all in sync. Everybody was up and moving around and stuff. I'm like, why am I awake right now?
Yeah.
I am not a morning person. But
waiting on production and stuff. Production getting there late. You know, they say they'll get there at 9. They show up at like 11. It's like, okay.
2 hours late.
Yeah.
They were getting 2 hours late. Yeah. You know, and then, but we end up filming. We ended up filming most of that day, like anyway, you know what I'm saying? So it was just cool. It was cool to where, you know, I felt it was a lot of relief when we were done filming and we could really just not only be more of ourselves, but, you know, it's like, okay, this isn't going to be caught, you know? And then I'm really thinking, though, too, like when you leave all that camera equipment, I'm just thinking, like, this would be the biggest heist ever. So there will be no Ready to Love Detroit. I'm calling Pookie and them, you know what I'm saying?
Yo.
Then I would be surprised. Cardi, what happened? You know, I don't even know. They came into the back door. They had shotguns, muskets.
Now this is what they expected from Detroit. You can't let them.
We were sleeping.
He said muskets. Oh
yeah,
shit.
all that shit. You know?
Wait, muskets?
All of that. You know,
they have to reload and shoot again.
You know, like I guess y'all is gonna be like Philly. There's gonna be a big ass break because you know, Cardi just set all this shit up. You know.
Leave one of their camera lenses on a brick just so they feel like they're part of the city. Like they get the full experience.
You get the full experience. You know? Is it in the cloud?
Experience, okay.
The Cardi experience, exactly. You know, all that stuff is going through. Don't y'all edit me bad because I'm taking all this shit. You know what I'm saying?
But I want to talk about something real quick. I feel like this is kind of, there's a theme going on, and I'm not throwing shade at nobody, but there was a time where Nicole went to a date and she was like, I don't want you talking to nobody else. I want you to be about me, right?
Yeah, that was
and then Lauren did the same thing at the cabin where she's like, oh, I see Dom put Bello's bag over here and I want to come and tell him that, like, if you stay in that room, then there ain't nothing going on with me and you. And I want to put, like, it was interesting because one of the themes that I don't know I don't feel like it got captured as part of production. One of Lauren's things was she wanted all her connections. She wanted her to be number one for all of her connections, but she had multiple connections. So she was like, yo, Bello, like, why am I not number one? I'm like, I'm not your top connection either. And she's like, no, that doesn't matter. Like I'm supposed to be number one. And then that theme came through with the with the room situation where she was like, because to be honest, like every time Lauren comes, hey,
wait, let Bello speak.
I was caught off guard because she seemed like she was focused elsewhere, but then she'll come and be like, yo, like, I'm here. And I'm like, what? Like, I didn't even know you were
I like how you corrected it within of letting her know, well, you know, play to win or play yourself. But this is the thing. There is a very big correlation when it comes to Lauren and it comes to Nicole. And let me explain. Nicole on interviews and just in general has said, I've never dated multiple people at the same time. And then Lauren is like, well, I've never dated multiple people at the same time, you know? And as the women are talking within the lounge of other stuff, so it's like, I feel that sometimes Lauren has the innate ability of taking characteristics which could be likable to other people and kind of identifying them, you know? And the thing is that where as she's finding out in real time where she stands of what that cabin does, then it's almost putting pressure on you as well, saying, hey, you're not really controlling what's happening. That's just the difference between chemistry and attraction. That's what's being shown us there. But it was being shown in real time that Lauren was not the top priority nor the top connection for her connections. And I think it hits just a little bit differently when you are the spare tire and you're not the main, tire.
Damn, not spare tire, bro. Give me this analogy.
Fire is insane, bro.
But
it's not saying it's the truth. No, and that's why it hits a certain way. That's why it hits a certain way. When you realize that, you are an accessory that is not really even needed sometimes. I think it gets.
Shots fired, bro.
Shots fired. Hey, tell me if I'm lying. Like,
you say Cardi's not deep.
What? He is deeper than the abyss in the ocean. Okay.
You really get it. Like, if you don't get it, I promise you, it's because you ain't deep enough.
The analogies are hitting. The spare tire analogy, I was like, damn.
I didn't even know you had that conversation let me say this, with Lauren. That is crazy. When I watched that back, I was like, the fuck?
Yeah.
My bad, Shannon.
Now her pulling aside everybody, like, hey. Hey.
Oh, yeah.
It's just stuff that I've observed about her. And it's like
she's actually admitted to that. That whole
what?
I know, right?
Okay. It's not the exact same thing, but I think doing things with like sort of like power play motives. When she talks about doing the spin, to me, one of the interesting things that came out about that was that she was like, yeah, I do that sometimes. I'd be telling dudes to do stuff just to see if they'll do it. And I feel like I don't ever do that to a woman. There's never a time where I'm like, I'm just going to do that, just see it. Like when people showed me that that's part of their character, it's like a orange flag, bright orange.
He said bright orange.
Bright orange is crazy.
Not a
orange. You could have said amber. It's
a harken back to the.
It was from the other one with Nicole, and he was like, I wouldn't call her a red.
Let me also say, to Nicole's defense, like
Nicole's amazing.
What Nicole was talking about was more of like an emotional thing that most of us have, and definitely most women have, where they're like, yeah, I don't want you talking to anybody else. She was just speaking to that feeling that she had.
Yeah.
She said it at a weird time because my other connections are here. And like so
like, you got some balls.
I think she was speaking.
He gave us all
She spoke out loud what people were thinking and didn't say.
You said what?
She spoke out loud what people were thinking and didn't say out loud, basically.
I wasn't thinking that,
of the process.
But often, it's not like an unusual thought. Like I think, like if you really like somebody, you don't want them talking to anybody else. But it's just
in this setting, I think
in this setting exactly, and that's why. But I'm saying her and Lauren aren't like they're not the same. To me, I feel like there's
they're definitely they're not the same. But what I'm saying is that having the ability to look at what a person's doing and then repurpose it to say, hey, this is what I'm doing now, so I'm going to have a certain discussion that I'm going to bring because I'm going to make you feel like I feel, so if I have to do certain things that make you insecure on things, even when we look at my vibe, okay, and we look at, let's say, the X date with Ashanti, it started to become a characteristic now that would define. And before going to the date with Ashley, I'm talking to Ashanti, and Ashanti's like, oh, well, this happened to this. I'm like, okay, so you essentially have sent me on this date. I understand, but it's like, now that I'm talking to you, though, I don't need to talk to you before going in to try to save face when you have just kind of thrown me out, but you feel that it's an eye for an eye. You feel me? Now I have to reposition to see exactly what I can do because us just talking now is going to take me out of the particular game. So same thing like Ina, like I'm saying, or like I've come to realize before, it's like all of a sudden it's a shitstorm and then it's like, hey, everybody, how's everybody doing? You know what I'm saying? It's just like getting control of your mind and the things and your emotions, and so you can actually move better and move forward. But sometimes people take the things that happen and they take the things that they say and it's like, no, I don't care about any of that. I want you to feel like I feel, and which is why. Go ahead.
No, go.
No, go ahead.
Keep going. You're still going. Go.
Go ahead.
Finish your thought.
Go.
Oh, hey, we ain't pulling business right now. We ain't pulling business right now. You go ahead, Shannon.
No, I was just gonna say I kind of looked up like what we all kind of went through and experienced, and it's compressed intimacy trauma. Because I talked to chat.
ChatGPT is awesome.
I just kind of was like, am I tripping? Like, this feels funny, you know, because I like to check myself, but I animated my chat to be mean back to me and like brutal and direct. And I told her, talk to me like I talk to you. Yeah. So, but anyway, that's irrelevant. But it's compressed intimacy trauma that was experienced, even if we don't feel it, you know, or wouldn't describe it that way. But because of this situation, what we all went through and experienced, and even like other different like reality love shows or whatever, it's like compressed, like it's forced and pressure is pushed there to experience like connection, and not saying any of it is forced. You actually probably feel these things, but then you're having people leave and like, you know, like you have to vote somebody off.
That's the thing. That's the biggest thing.
Like it's jarring.
It's like it's wild. It's wild.
Sorry, I tangented. I forgot why I needed to say that because
we were talking about Nicole.
Yes,
and with
like Nicole and Lauren, what they're experiencing and not.
Right. So for me, I don't think like we all thought that, but like Shannon and I said, like us women, a lot of us women didn't think that. But what I can identify is in a setting with our girls, we might think that a little bit and maybe even converse with our close confidants, right? But it's not something that in a setting with other women and your significant other, we're about to lay bare, because I think then it highlights the negatives that we are hoping to not be the case. You know what I'm saying? And that's what insecurities usually are. They're like the thought that they're the thought of the fear coming true. And with that reality, it causes us to guard. You know, now we're guarding. Now we're attempting to shoot shots to make sure that we're getting some of them in. You know, so I think that hers was just out of fear of her position in a sense, and wanting to clarify to him if he wasn't aware how much she cared. It wasn't in a sense I don't like seeing with these other women. You hear me?
Nicole.
She's talking about Nicole.
Oh yeah, I don't think it was like, hey hoes, you hear me? I don't like.
Oh no, it wasn't like that at all.
It was definitely not that, and it wasn't like, oh, I'm so inferior to these women. It wasn't that either. I think it was just definitely emphasizing her standpoint and where her level of emotional capacity is, as well as her transparency. Like for me, I got a lot of backlash because I'm very straight to the point. Y'all might not like what I said, but at the end of the day, baby, I meant it. And they did a lot of edits for certain that made it seem more harsh. But like when everybody was feeling bad for you, Bello, but do you feel bad for the way we were speaking?
No.
Yeah, because you even had a whole interview and it was really the edits, you know, even with Devon, did you feel offended that you were able to help me after a car accident?
No.
You know, so I don't think that anybody felt used, because that was never my intention. Like, I never had to do that. Yo, to check my page.
Ina, I'm going to tell y'all what, those are, once again, beautiful sentiments. But what I find is so damn crazy is when somebody can talk shit about you, right, at a ladies' lounge, and then look at you when they have their connection next to them and ask you to cook their turkey bacon. You know, it's like, you got me fucked up. Huh?
Oh yeah.
You got your boo behind you and you asked me to cook turkey bacon, I'll burn all of this shit down. You know?
I gotta hear this.
What are you talking about?
He's so good with his face.
This is not
It's like, oh yeah, you got me seriously fucked up.
It's emasculating. This is how we would talk on the phone.
It's me. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was like, oh, you ain't deep, you ain't this and this. You know, it's like, and I always want y'all to know this is a safe space to be yourselves. It's never something to where, you know, the stuff that we don't want out, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that. You're like, you're not going to go on the internet and be like, oh, Carter's talking shit about me. He's going, you know, no, I find, you know, but I just find it just crazy because we created this, we're making stuff happen, and we need to be able to do what we need to do. But you know when a person is there for you or if they're not, and at the end of the day, you don't have to clown somebody if they're just not for you, you know?
You know me firsthand, like I have always, and I think that all of y'all can like attest to this, I've always been the person of unity, wanting to offer everyone the opportunity to do everything from like getting everybody opportunity for the news if I had it, or just anything, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's, I don't even stand to where I feel like I need a answer for my character. I think that the people who know me, and the people who want to believe, you know, hypocrites, they end up looking crazy and missing out on greatness. And it makes it easier for God to align us with the right folks.
People like,
people know that. But Bello, what you got to realize though too is that you were one of her top connections, but you chose Dom.
Yeah, and she was mad as fuck.
And she don't fuck with Dom. Go ahead, Shannon, as you can expound on.
She don't fuck with me neither, and I don't care. But she gives like,
I had no idea.
I don't care if you put this out here.
That's why
I have so much fucking heat. You know I do. Because the person is very, very rude, like ignorantly so. Like, it's unnecessary. Like, why are you like this? I see why you say you only have guy friends, but they probably don't even fuck with you because you're so two-faced. Like, what the fuck?
It's very
like,
difficult.
I don't understand how you talk about all your connections so negatively, and then you're in their face. Like, you're interrupting, you know, coming into a room where I'm helping Steve or like sitting with Steve. I just get up and walk away because, girl, like, you're just ruining like the vibe. Why are you in here?
What's so interesting though is just like the way that the dudes talk about the women on the show, like hardly ever a negative word. Even the thing with Vince, Lauren wasn't the topic. That wasn't the point. It wasn't about Lauren. It's like, I feel like we never gossiped about y'all's. Like it was not that sort of vibe. Like it was, you know what I mean? It's
the women were talking cash shit about us constantly. Like Nikki was like, we would be in there talking all type of shit. So I'm like, let me get this right. Y'all will be talking all type of shit about us. And she's like, yes. And I was like, but let the B word or something come out. She's like, yeah, that was really minimal. I'm like, I knew it. Not to say that it's something that I would do or that it could be entertained, but they were talking cash shit about us constantly.
Who knows?
I didn't. I spoke highly of everyone until it got very weird for me, and I read it.
Okay, but in the ladies' lounge, was there gossip of just dogging niggas? Is what I'm saying.
I wouldn't say dogging. We weren't calling y'all out y'all name. That's what I should say.
Okay. Y'all talked about what happened as a whole.
How we connect.
For instance, Xavier wasn't a connection for a lot of people, and when we emphasized that he wasn't a connection, we identified like he doesn't reach out. No one was able to get his phone number. We were identifying the facts as to why there was no connection.
I told him to his face, and I said it's not on camera, but I was like, he uncle.
But that's still not no B word. That's a type.
Totally
that's like
different.
Calling him though is crazy work, but I mean, it's real.
I told him that to his face, like you do, Cardi. You tell people to his face.
No, like, and that's perfect. That's perfect.
If you're giving wisdom, it's like you don't want to talk to me. You're not trying to engage. The way you're trying to engage with me, it's not tracking for me. But I'm also like almost 10 years younger.
So with Xavier, I feel like his approach was just all wrong. He just wasn't. He didn't know what dating was. Like he doesn't date. So, and I think that was very clear from like the way that he was interacting and like how it kind of felt like he was expecting to be chased at some point. Like
I'm gonna let y'all know like this, and I don't mean to interrupt you, Devon, but somebody got to get eliminated at some point in time. I fuck with Xavier. That's my guy.
I do too. I do too. I fuck with Xavier.
Yeah,
when everybody got eliminated, it was his time based off that, and it was like at the end of the day, if you went to the cabin,
he
only got one person.
And I think more trauma. I mean, there would be more drama and stuff, and it has to be if you're not getting phone numbers,
that's what it looked like.
And it's like you're not necessarily connected. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's what it was with Lauren. You know, we came to the point. Honestly, for me, what it looked like, we were at a point. She just didn't have many strong connections. I don't know when she actually gets off, but so she was trying to desperately. I know the edits. Okay, the edits will make it look a little crazy, but it did look like she was reaching for. You know, she's reaching. She's trying. She realized she's in a really weird position, and you know, she's trying to change that. So I didn't even feel like she did anything wrong. That's what I mean. What else is she gonna do? You know, and that,
it's like she's swimming in the ocean without a life vest and can't swim. I mean, that's pretty much what
she's
happened.
like trying to get somebody to pick her to save her, like save
you know, it's just what it is.
You can't save
somebody has to get eliminated.
Yeah, so it's like,
you know,
and I feel like where he's saying, like, I felt like at the point where she realized her top connections didn't put her number one, it made her feel like, oh, I need to make new connections real fast because, or I need to like 10 toes down on
her date. If you on your date and then the connections are not connecting in that type of way, you not gonna go to the cabin and that's gonna happen. Okay. No, in all seriousness. And what I'm saying is that I had a lot of time based off of getting past cooking turkey, bacon, and other things to where I'm having discussions. And then you see insecurity, you see other stuff, you see the scheming, you see everything come out. It's just like, yeah, all right. Good luck.
Cardi was saying some funny stuff, man. I still remember Cardi was like, because again, maybe I'm oblivious, I don't know, but Cardi's like, yo, at the cabin, she was eyeing you, dog. I'm like, when? She was trying to talk to Steve. She was jumping on Vince. There was like, Cardi's like, no, we were having a conversation. She was peeking over my shoulders, like, really? I'm like, what? But
she looked like iRobot. It looked like something I be talking to her.
She was on your ass, Bella.
But the reason why you didn't realize it was because you had your focus somewhere else. And this is why, let me say this. Bella, what I can say is I felt the connection when we had it. And then when we didn't have it, is because I felt it went somewhere else. And I would respect it where it went, right? And I felt like, maybe I could never be sitting in here knowing you just put your bag in that woman's bed, thinking I'm about to have a conversation with you.
He put her bag. She put his bag in her bed. He didn't put the bag in there.
He didn't matter. He allowed it. He was willing and wanting.
He was the bag lady.
That was his top connection. Everybody,
but he was
that,
okay, and everybody, just like when we knew that Ed was Nicole's top connection, we were like sold on Ed. Ed's good. He's shipped off. You know what I'm saying? Bello shipped off. So there's no way I would have had to sit down knowing, even though we had our thing in the past, knowing that she's so sold, he's so sold, ain't no way.
Well, Lauren likes to always one up a bitch. Okay.
Try. With the big word, try.
I used to be I used to be
try to try.
Say it again.
No, she don't one up her. She tries.
Oh,
girl.
Man.
You know what I have observed is like it's really in like a process like this. I hate even calling it a process. It feels so weird, but you know, a television show.
Oh my God!
That's how much he runs up. Pinky's up.
Oh my God! Listen, my grandma press play when we upload this. I'm just telling y'all.
In the television show, okay, I'll say this. In this season, I felt like at least all my connections, I felt like were sincere. They were on some level looking to find love. Really? And also, though, it is a television show. They're also looking to win, or at least not look like they lost on TV. And I feel like,
okay, because what are you winning?
I feel like for a lot of folks, those feelings and emotions and motivations got all twisted up into a knot. I don't have the smoke for Lauren that y'all got. Like it's
not even smoke. It's like reality.
It's just facts. We're only speaking facts.
Yes. I haven't experienced. Right. Everything that I've experienced is like sort of secondhand. But what I will say is that I understand that what it looks like to me from the outside is that she is even on the show right now, like the way that they edited it or whatever. It looks like she's trying to not lose, like, you know, she's trying to.
I agree with that 1,000,000%. I feel at some point in time Lauren decided that, I ain't feeling, actually she said it in the women's lounge. She's like, I ain't feeling none of these men. I'm gonna choose myself.
I was there.
He said, I'm not feeling none of these men. I'm gonna choose myself. And then fast forward the next episode, she's like, I'm feeling you, Bello. I'm like, what the hell? I heard what you said. Like from from two sources. So I just played it off like I didn't hear nothing. But I do agree with you that her motivation was to get as far as she could get, but she wasn't really invested. And to be honest, she wasn't really that interested in Steve, and she was messing up Shannon's flow. And I feel like that was diabolical. And I feel like when you were chilling and she came and interrupted, that's her MO. And I didn't like that. And I feel like, yeah, I don't want to get into
you clearly see that's my connection. You say you have these other connections. And then, like, even I interrupted Donna and Steve. They played that crazy. They cut that crazy.
Yeah, but we didn't talk about that, but that was very. I was like, wow.
They cut that shit crazy.
Wow.
Have us all sit down on the couch. I was walking up the stairs, heard her talk about dissertation. I'm a nerd, so I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" And I was walking away, and then, "Well, come sit down, you guys." And so that's what happened. I didn't walk from the couch from Darius and go.
I appreciate that context because it did. I was like, wow.
It's fine.
It didn't look crazy though. It just looked bold. I was like,
I don't care. I like that man. What's tea? It don't matter. But like, she absolutely would always be trying to, like, I told Christina, you're always trying to like one up and like do all this stuff. And I'm sorry. Like, I feel like there's some colorism going on here. Like, she thinks that because me and Dom are like darker than her, like she feels like there's no way Bello should be with Dom. Like, this is me. Like, there was always like a tension there that Bello and Dom had this wonderful connection. And she even came up to me after a ladies' lounge and sat up there and said like, "Oh, how do you get the guys to open up to you? Like, what are you doing? Da 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 da." And I was like, I'm just talking to them, asking questions.
Being genuine, concerned.
And I said, I just talk, let them talk. And then she's going to be like, I called Steven last night and he didn't answer. And we were sitting at the table and I was just like, oh, okay. And she's like, oh, I thought you were going to tell me that he was talking to you. And I was like, well, girl, if he said he was asleep, he was sleeping. But I'm not going to tell you what the fuck he was doing, even if I did know. What?
Okay. Wait till y'all see the reunion. The reunion
is
is going to blow y'all mind.
The guys,
we would just never do that. This is a crazy situation.
No. Solid ass females would never do that.
Like, isn't
that crazy as hell? Like, why are you clocking me?
Like, Bella. Can you
imagine if I called Bella like, you would never offer.
How do you get Dom to talk?
How you talking to the ops? How you talking to the ops?
They showed nothing between me and Steve talking to each other ever. But we sat up there and watched Sailor Moon episodes on FaceTime. So it's like she would get annoyed, like they're not gonna show it, but I would look at her out of the corner of my eye and she would be rolling her fucking
because y'all are bonding in a different type of way that she can't really cover because she wants to do what she wants to do. And the thing is where when people are connecting a certain type of way, it can set off different insecurities, Y'all,
I am so excited that y'all chose to tune in and get all this tea right up here in the D, baby. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know where y'all can find some of our amazing guests from the cast of Ready to Love Detroit. Starting with Shannon. Go ahead and give them their Instagram.
It's Regal Smiles.
Period. Because look at that beautiful smile. Bello.
Oh, you guys can find me at boss_Bello at Instagram, or you can find me at Akibulon Reet, AKEBULANREIT, and that is the that's basically the generational wealth through real estate platform, and then or you can find me at www.turnkeyrealtyportfolio.com.
And if all else fails, go to @boss_Bello.
It's gonna be in your bio, right?
Okay,
yeah, it'll be in my bio.
Yeah. Okay, and of course, we want to thank Mr. Devon and of course wish him well on his new journey as he steps from Ready to Love and into the new world as a eligible bachelor.
Yes, sir.
You can find me at Devon Writes the Script on Instagram.
Without ass at the end. And I know y'all know my co-host. And if you don't know 1 + 2 = 3, then you probably wouldn't know I'm Cardi, but it's simple at Cardi.
Yeah, and then also make sure y'all actually follow my reality checks. Yes. So on IG, and that's going to be for everything of snippets of T on the D and other things that are viral and curated. And then last, but of course not least, my beautiful co-host, Ina Lee, and your IG.
So Yes, y'all can definitely find me at INA_LIS. And if you have not checked out already, and if you are late to the party like I usually be, it's okay. I love you as well. But make sure you go check out Darling, my new single on all digital platforms currently. Music video coming soon.
Fire.
Definitely, if you are not following, I love it. And if you ain't following T in the D, make sure you go follow T in the D and subscribe. Make sure y'all comment because listen, we here Friday and starting on the 9th. Make sure y'all tune in because we will be at the Shadow Gallery doing our live audience and recap for T in the D. And make sure you tune in because it's going to have a little bit of karaoke. You don't want to miss it. So
I'll be there. I'll be there for karaoke.
And we got some love coming soon.
Trying to clear this little throat I got.
Oh man, I can't wait to hear you on the mic. Look, we're gonna have Bella on the mic. We're gonna have me on the mic. Devon, are you gonna come?
Yeah. Tell me this though. What's y'all? Can I get y'all go-to karaoke song real quick? Just like, can we just go around? Say your.
I like the OJ's Backstabbers.
Nice. Smile in your face.
Oh, he ready. He ready. What's yours, Bella?
All right now.
What's yours, Bella?
I don't know yet. You know what? I would do two. If I was gonna do hip hop, I would do Juicy. I would do Juicy. I know the whole Juicy like end to end. And then if I was gonna sing, I'd probably do I'd probably do You Remind Me by Usher.
Hey, I love that. Nice. Okay, if it was me, I would probably do Time on My Hands. Since you've been away, boy, I ain't got no plans. No, y'all gonna have to wait until
Devon, that was that moment when the lights should have went red.
Oh no red lights. We don't like the red lights.
I'm playing. Shannon, what about you? What's your karaoke song of choice?
My karaoke song? Oh my gosh. I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston.
That's a party right there.
That's my
that's a good one. That's a good one.
That means you can hit a high note then. You can hit a high note.
Hey. I got two.
Y'all gotta wait to see. All right, and Devon, what about you?
I got two. My actual one that I use most of the time is Montel Jordan. This Is How We Do It. But if I'm feeling, depending on the crowd, I might do Don't Stop Believing by Journey. You know, but one of them always get the party jumping.
Yeah, both of them is definitely there. But I can't wait to see y'all. Thank y'all so much for lending your time, your energy, your effort for this fresh tea in the D. With that being said, I'm about to go into a coma, so I'm about to pass out.
Good night, y'all. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
God bless y'all. Bye for now.
Good night.
Please.